It was like a death. It was like something that I really believed I would never get back again, that was it. It wasn't one crisis that made me lose my voice. It was my childhood poverty, my parents' death. I was a workaholic, and my marriage was falling apart. My own friend had an affair with my husband.
At 60, Shania Twain has finally revealed what her best friend did with her husband. For years, Shania kept the full truth locked away, but now she is telling everything. Her best friend's name was Marianne Thibault, the woman who spent every holiday at Shania's table, the woman whose children played with Shania's son, the woman Shania trusted with her deepest fears, her worries about her failing voice, her private thoughts about her marriage. For years, Shania poured all of it into this one woman, and the entire time, Marianne was hiding something that would shatter everything. One day, Shania felt something was wrong with her husband, Mutt, so she went to Marianne and asked her directly, "Don't you think Mutt is acting strange?" And Marianne started to cry. She was so hurt that Shania would even question her loyalty. The tears were so convincing that Shania apologized to the woman who was sleeping with her husband.
And she got very defensive and said, "How could you think such a thing? That I would ever lie to you about anything?" It's the whole innocent friend, even with a tear in her eye.
But what most people miss is that this is not a story about an affair. This is a story about a woman who confided her deepest fears to the very person causing them. To understand why this betrayal nearly killed Shania Twain, you have to understand what she had already survived. She learned at a very young age to act like she was not cold when she was freezing, and to act like she was fine when she was starving. The family was poor, real poor. The kind of poor where dinner was moldy bread, or mustard on bread, or nothing at all. Her stepfather was violent. Shania has spoken about watching him beat her mother so badly that he once knocked her unconscious by slamming her head repeatedly into a toilet bowl. And young Eileen learned very quickly that the only way to help was to earn money. So at 8 years old, she started singing in bars. After midnight, performing for strangers and drunks, earning 20 Canadian dollars that she would bring home to help put gas in the car. An 8-year-old girl standing on a stage in a bar at 1 in the morning, singing for tips because her family could not afford food. Remember that girl? Because she is the same woman who would one day sell 100 million records, win 5 Grammys, and then discover that the two people she trusted most had been lying to her face for months. Then, on November 1, 1987, when Shania was just 22 years old, her mother and stepfather were killed in a car accident. Gone. Both of them. In an instant. Shania became the legal guardian of her 2 younger brothers. She was not chasing fame, she was paying rent. But she kept going, and eventually, a demo tape found its way to a man named Robert John Lange. They called him Mutt, legendary producer. When he heard Shania's voice, he called her. They talked for months before meeting. When they finally did meet, the connection was immediate. They were married by December 1993. Together, Shania and Mutt created Come On Over, an album that sold over 40 million copies worldwide. 40 million. It remains the best-selling studio album by any female artist in any genre, ever. You're Still the One. Man, I Feel Like a Woman. 5 Grammy Awards. Shania Twain was not just a country star anymore. She was one of the biggest musical artists on the planet. But here is what nobody talks about. Every single one of those love songs was about to become evidence of a lie. You're Still the One was written about Mutt. It was their love song. Looks like we made it. Look how far we've come, my baby. Millions of couples danced to that song at their weddings. And the man she wrote it about was going to betray her in the worst way a husband can betray a wife. In 2001, they had a son named Ija. They settled in Switzerland. And for the first time in her life, after a childhood of poverty, violence, and loss, Shania Twain felt safe. She should not have. In 2003, Shania was bitten by a tick carrying Lyme disease. It caused permanent nerve damage to her vocal cords. Her voice would cut out without warning. For 7 years, she could not even yell for her dog without her voice failing.
I have lost my ability to express myself and my ability to sing. I've lost it. That the tension it just will not let the sound come out. I couldn't even sing to myself. I couldn't sing in the shower. What if I can never sing again?
The voice that had sold more albums than any other female artist alive. It was failing. I thought I'd lost my voice forever, she said. So picture where Shania was in the mid-2000s, the biggest selling female artist in history, quietly losing the ability to sing, trying to hold herself together for her young son, and it was while she was at her most vulnerable that she would discover the truth about the 2 people she trusted most. That is when Marianne Thibault moved to the center of the story. Marianne was hired as their personal assistant and estate manager. But over time, she became Shania's closest friend. The two families spent holidays together. Their children played together. Marianne's husband, Frederick Thibault, was a Nestle executive. The four of them built a tight-knit social circle. Shania trusted Marianne completely. She confided in her about her voice problems, about her fears, about her marriage. And the entire time, Marianne was hiding a secret that would shatter everything. She knew. Marianne knew. She knew because she was the secret. When Mutt started acting strange, Shania went to Marianne and asked her directly, "Don't you think my husband is acting strange?" And Marianne looked her in the eye and lied. "No, I don't see anything strange. I think he's fine." But Shania kept pushing. And this is where it gets devastating. In a Marilyn Dennis interview, Shania revealed what happened next. She asked Marianne point blank if there was anything she needed to tell her. And Marianne started to cry.
And when I asked her the direct question, when I said, "What is going on?" then she got very defensive and said, "How could you think such a thing? That I would ever lie to you about anything?" It's the whole innocent friend, even with a tear in her eye.
She was so devastated that Shania did not trust her after all these years of friendship. The tears were so convincing that Shania believed her. Shania actually called Frederick back on the phone while Marianne was still there and said, "Fred, I really do think you need to check your sources. I believe her. I think you're wrong." Marianne used tears to convince Shania that she was the one being betrayed by the accusation. She made Shania feel guilty for even asking, and Shania apologized to the woman who was sleeping with her husband. But Marianne's idea of fixing the problem was not the same as Shania's idea. As Shania put it, "My idea of fixing it was not the same as her idea of fixing it. Her idea was to carry on without me with my husband." The affair was not discovered by Shania, it was discovered by Frederick. He found a set of lingerie in Marianne's suitcase. Lingerie he had never seen before. Lingerie that was not meant for him. Frederick confronted Marianne and Mutt directly. He told them, "Guys, now you have to tell Shania, you just owe her that." They refused, so Frederick did it himself. He called Shania and told her the truth. And in that moment, the woman who had survived poverty, survived abuse, survived the death of her parents, survived raising her siblings alone, fell apart. In her own words, "I was ready to die, to go to bed forever and never wake up, or to hurt someone. I was ready to do something desperate." That was not exaggeration. That was a woman describing the first week after discovering her best friend was sleeping with her husband. She told Marilyn Dennis, "I needed to take a lot of hot baths. I was freezing, I was in shock, and I didn't eat for a solid week." And here is where Shania said something that might change how you see this whole story. "I'm not so sure that if there hadn't been an interruption by a third party, I'm not even so sure if the marriage would have ended at that point. Without Marianne's interference, Shania and Mutt might have worked it out. The marriage was struggling, yes, but every marriage goes through hard seasons." Shania described it like this: "I started digging myself a very deep hole, and I can tell you digging is a lot easier than climbing. They might have climbed out together. They might have found their way back. Marianne made sure that never happened." Shania wrote a letter to Marianne. Years later, she read it publicly. "I loved him so much, and I can't cope anymore. I don't want life or love anymore. I just want peace. Why are you torturing me? If you could see me crying and suffering, maybe you would have pity." She begged her best friend to walk away. Find love somewhere else, from someone else that isn't hurting two families so much. And Marianne's response? She changed her phone number so Shania could not reach her anymore. This was not a stranger. This was a woman who had eaten dinner at Shania's table, who had watched Shania's son grow up, who had spent holidays with her family, who had listened to Shania cry about her voice, about her fears, about her marriage, and her response to being caught was to erase herself from Shania's life and continue the affair as if Shania's pain was an inconvenience. And Mutt, the man who had produced every one of her hit songs? Mutt lived up to his name. He wanted out. He had told Shania he wanted a divorce in the summer of 2008 without giving her a real explanation. He did not have the courage to tell her why. When the truth came out, he did not fight for his family. He did not apologize. After 14 years of marriage and a son together, he was done. Their divorce was finalized in June 2010. Here is what this cost: Mutt Lange, the man who co-wrote "You're Still the One," would never produce another song with that kind of cultural impact. The voice that made him legendary was gone. He gave it up for the secretary. Today, Mutt and Shania do not speak except about their son. She told the Armchair Expert podcast, "Mutt and I parent well together for people who don't talk to each other. If a man cheats on Shania Twain, there is no hope for the rest of us. That is not me saying that. That is what the comments say. That is what women watching this understand in their bones. When you shine too brightly, those next to you cannot stand it. Sometimes the very people you trust to stand in your light are the ones who want to put it out. Shania has said that Ija saved her life during that period, not because he fixed anything, but because he needed her. She knew she had to keep going for him. She stayed in Switzerland, in the same community where the betrayal had happened, because she did not want to uproot her child's life on top of everything else. The woman whose entire world had just collapsed chose to stay in the place where it collapsed, because her son's stability mattered more than her own pain. But staying meant Shania would face something she never expected. The person who would pull her out of the darkness was the last person anyone would have predicted. Frederick Thibault, Marie-Anne's ex-husband, the same man who had called Shania to tell her the truth. There is a detail from the Junos that tells you everything about who Fred is. Shania was walking by with her entourage, and someone looked back and there was Fred, standing by the limo, talking to the security guy, but he was not watching himself. He was watching her, looking over at her to make sure she was okay. And Shania thought, I like that guy. Fred knew Mutt was cheating with Marie-Anne and had the respect to tell her. He did the right thing when no one else would. We were two people who had been jettisoned from our lives as if we'd been shoved off the edge of a high cliff, she said. Thankfully, we managed to grab onto each other on the way down in midair and break each other's fall. She resisted it at first. After what Mutt had done, trusting anyone felt dangerous. But Frederick was patient. He showed up consistently, with the kind of steady kindness Shania had spent her whole life searching for. They married on New Year's Day 2011 in a small sunset ceremony in Puerto Rico. Just 40 family members and close friends. Two people who had been broken by the same betrayal, choosing to rebuild together. Fred is a true upgrade from Mutt, and if you think about the symmetry of this story, it is almost poetic. The same affair that destroyed Shania's marriage created the relationship that saved her life. Marie-Anne's betrayal was supposed to end Shania. Instead, it introduced her to someone better, but finding love again was only half of what Shania still had to reclaim. Could she ever sing again? In 2018, a Philadelphia throat specialist surgically implanted Gore-Tex stabilizers into Shania's throat. It was a procedure that carried real risks, but Shania had already lost her voice once to silence. She was not willing to lose it again to fear. Her album Now, released in 2017, was her first record in 15 years. It debuted at #1 on the Billboard Top 200. The world had not forgotten Shania Twain. They had been waiting for her. And here is the part that should make every woman watching smile. In a recent interview, Shania talked about performing You're Still the One. She admitted that for years after her divorce, she did not want to sing it. I'm divorced now. Does it really mean what it used to mean when I wrote it? But then something changed. She realized the song does not belong to Mutt anymore. It belongs to her fans, to the millions of people who played it at their weddings, who sang it to their children, who held onto it during their own hard times. She reclaimed her own song, From the Man Who Betrayed Her. Her album Queen of Me followed in 2023. She launched a sold-out global tour, a Las Vegas residency. And on August 28, 2025, Shania Twain turned 60 years old, still performing, still touring, still filling arenas with fans who have loved her for 3 decades. The title of that album says everything. Queen of Me. Not queen of country, not queen of pop, queen of herself. I have a different voice now. She has said, but I own it. I love my voice now. Mutt Lange and Marie-Anne Thibault are still together, 15 years later, living quietly in Switzerland. When Shania confirmed this on Dax Shepard's podcast, she was asked how she feels about it. Do I hate my ex-husband for making a mistake? No, it's his mistake, not my mistake. So sad for him that he made such a great mistake that he has to live with. That's not my weight. She does not carry it anymore. The betrayal does not define her worth. It reveals their character. But she remembers. Her body remembered even when her mind tried to move on. And when she finally answered that question on Watch What Happens Live, she said those 5 words. I wish I'd never met you. She did not need to say more. Mutt Lange's legacy speaks for itself now. The man who co-wrote You're Still the One traded the greatest voice of her generation for a woman who changed her phone number rather than face what she had done. He has a distant relationship with his own son, and the woman he left behind, she turned 60 performing to sold-out arenas, married to the man who told her the truth when nobody else would. Cheaters are liars first. Marie-Anne proved that with her tears. Mutt proved it by asking for a divorce without explaining why. But here is what they did not count on. Shania Twain was not built in easy circumstances. She was built in bars at midnight, earning $20 at 8 years old. She was built burying her parents at 22. She was built raising her brothers when she should have been chasing her own dreams. She was built to survive, and she did more than survive. She climbed out of that very deep hole. She reclaimed her voice. She reclaimed her song. She reclaimed her life. If you are not subscribed yet, this is the channel that tells these stories every week. If you want to see another story of a man who lost everything the moment he betrayed the woman who built him, that video is on your screen right now. Click it. Shania Twain did not need to say anything about Marianne or Mutt. Their choices have been saying it for them.